But feminine beauty is still a really tough topic. So to help us out, we're gonna call on three people. Saint Joan of Arc, and we're gonna call on Audrey Hepburn, and we are gonna call on the Bible. Feminine beauty. This is a difficult topic. Tough topic. But to start it off, I think the best thing to determine is what is feminine beauty? What is true feminine genius? And true feminine genius is the giving of ourselves in order to nurture souls. So isn't that great? It doesn't mean you have to be married. It doesn't mean you have to be single, a nun. You just have to be giving of yourself in order to nurture souls, in order to share in true feminine genius and true feminine beauty. But feminine beauty is still a really tough topic. So to help us out, we're gonna call on three people. Saint Joan of Arc, and we're gonna call on Audrey Hepburn, and we are gonna call on the Bible. So first we'll start with Saint Joan of Arc. So Saint Joan of Arc, it's interesting because I think you could often lump her into sort of a category of she was trying to be just like one of the boys, going into battle, fighting for France, wearing the armor, cutting her hair, like she was just wanted to be like the boys. Nothing could be further from the truth. She went into battle as a servant of God. God asked her to do this. It wasn't something that she was pining for or like wanting to prove herself. No, this was a direct request from God. And she was very nervous about it. She was a teenager when she was sent to do this. And she couldn't have been more different from the men that she was leading in her troops. She made sure that everyone was going to confession. She made sure everyone attended mass on holy days of obligation. She didn't allow the men in her troops to have crude or coarse language around her, and she didn't allow women in the camps with the troops. She was very respectful of the fact that men and women were different, and she led them as a woman. She didn't lead them as a woman trying to be a man. She led them as a woman with her true feminine genius, with compassion and nurturing of souls. She also wasn't gung ho about killing people in these battles either. She would often send letters to the English troops begging them to retreat and to give up without any kind of a fight. And when they would refuse, she would still pray for them and pray for their souls. There are even times that have been recounted where she would be holding an enemy person who had died, holding their corpse and praying over them. So she was a compassionate person. She was demonstrating her feminine beauty even on the battlefield dressed in armor. She dressed in armor for practical reasons. She didn't want to get hurt, and she cut her hair for practical reasons too. If there were hundreds of men and saw a woman out on the battlefield with long flowing locks, do you think that would be a good idea? No, she knew better than that. She knew that that wasn't going to be safe for her. But she wasn't trying to be like one of the boys. She led troops of men by being feminine. It took time, but over time, the troops started to really respect her femininity and the way that she glorified and honored God and put him first in everything. They always were praying before every battle. They would see her do this. She would request that they did the same. Just really kept them in line, but not in a forceful, trying to be something she wasn't kind of way. She allowed God to work through her feminine genius. So there's one example of feminine beauty that I think isn't what we maybe typically think of beauty. I think sometimes beauty has a reputation of meaning fragile, weak, uh, dainty, which obviously St. Joan of Arc was not. She was not fragile, she was not weak, but she also was compassionate and kind, but strong. And those things are strengths. So again, St. Joan of Arc being an example of feminine beauty that is strong within and throughout, uh, not through brunt force, but through allowing God to be first in everything that you do and letting that shape everything else. Another example of feminine beauty is Audrey Hepburn. And I know she's not a religious figure, but sometimes it's helpful to bring in a little bit of culture that isn't religious so that we can see that even in that environment, true beauty can be found. Audrey Hepburn was often asked about her beauty routine and how she maintained the look that she had. And her response to a reporter was, "The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman is seen in her eyes, because that is the doorway to her heart, the place where love resides. True beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It's the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion she shows, and the beauty of a woman only grows with passing years." So again, I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, that the beauty of a woman is in the care that she gives. It's in her soul, and not just of a woman, but of all people. I think the beauty of them is in their soul and in the love that they give to others. First Peter chapter 3, verse 3, "Let not yours be the outward adorning with braiding of hair, decoration of gold, and wearing of fine clothing, but let it be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable jewel of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious." So here in the Bible, even we're reminded that the external is not what's most important, it's the internal, and that that is what is most precious to God and in the sight of the Lord. But that doesn't mean, so it says, the braiding of hair and the adorning of gold, that doesn't mean that anyone who braids their hair or wears gold is doing something wrong. And obviously, as women, we want to feel beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just recognizing that beauty uh, isn't perfection. Beauty isn't a weakness. It's giving and nurturing of ourselves to nurture other souls and bring them closer to God. That is true feminine beauty. And so my sanity saver for you today is colored lip balm, because that's something that I will wear whenever I want to go out of the house, just to give my face a little bit more life, a little more color, and just sort of spruce up the exterior part of my beauty while focusing the majority of my time, efforts, prayer on the interior. So again, wearing makeup is not wrong. Wanting to feel beautiful, having the desire to feel beautiful is not wrong. However, we should recognize that the true feminine genius isn't the caring for ourselves and our physical appearance. It is the caring of others and nurturing other souls. Just in the same way that Saint Joan of Arc and so many other saints that who was it that Saint Catherine of Siena, she chopped off all her hair because she wanted to be a nun and didn't want to have all these suitors coming after her. She was really beautiful on the outside, and many people were attracted to her. So in order to let her family know she was serious about being a nun, she just chopped all her hair off. So just lots of examples of women that understood, like deeply understood, that feminine beauty comes from within, and we don't need to adorn ourselves and spend lots of time on the exterior. So again, sanity saver for you, something that is quick and easy, that can give you a little boost and make you feel good on the outside while spending most of your time focusing on the inside.